September 15th, the regularly scheduled civil service commission meeting is to start. We have Commissioner Halt, Commissioner Lindsay, and Commissioner Stevens, Commissioner Curtis Hughes, and Commissioner Moore. At this time, we're looking for approval of the August 18th, 2020 minutes.
There are only two of you.
Oh, so moved.
Second.
Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And
Opposed?
just a reason for some of the delay there was Lisa's audio was coming through like every other room.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
The audio? Lisa's not talking.
All right, okay, so you're on.
Good morning, Commission. I just have a few updates for this month. We have completed our first run of the 2021 budget. We have been asked by finance to reduce our budget by about $125,000, which I have done. And I will have a completed proposed budget for your review at the October meeting. So just a quick update on that one.
Just out of curiosity, what was the low hanging fruit where you found over $100,000?
We're not going to be doing any contracting with Coffin Associates next year, which was a nice, easy $100,000 right off the bat that we took right off. And the rest, we basically really kind of tightened our belt in travel, conferences, conference travel, registration and schooling, and some temp seasonal money that we're probably not going to use. So it wasn't difficult at this point. It was not particularly painful yet. So we'll see when finance comes back and said you should cut more. We will do all the belt tightening we need to, as I think all departments are in that boat at this point. So I will have more information for you and something tangible to look at for the October meeting. I hope that everyone was able to see the newsletter that we sent out to all commissioners, just so you can have just an idea of what we're sending out quarterly to all employees. We will be doing one more newsletter before the end of the year for the fourth quarter. If you guys have any suggestions or ideas, we'd love to hear them. And then just finally, just on an outreach update, Katie, our customer engagement program manager, has done a presentation with City Council week before last, which was very well received. And we're hoping it moves into just some better lines of communication with City Council and a better understanding of sort of civil service and our role moving forward. We'd like to be back meeting in front of them every quarter with information that's of relevance and importance to them. So other than that, that's the chief's update I have for you this month. Thanks.
No questions for me, Mr. Chair.
All right. So
So item 4A, which is the Fire Battalion Chief eligibility list. We are requesting a deviation from the standard 24-month eligibility list to get the battalion chief back on the right schedule. Normally, it is every 24 months, every 2-year process. And just due to not having enough candidates over the course of the last couple of years and having to do emergency testing, we've gotten it very off schedule. And we'd like to have this next list that's going to be created in the next couple of weeks. The assessment center is next week. to expire on May 25th of 2020. No, I don't have it in front of me. Whatever I put. What did I put? Thank you, 2022. That will give future candidates, department, management, and civil service all a heads up on when it's coming and what to expect. So we don't have any sort of last minute stuff and people are trying to prepare and study and get ready at the very last minute. So that's
Well,
really what the goal is.
It makes sense to me, but Scott, you lived in this world, so what do you think?
Yeah, no, I think it makes sense as well. And I don't have any questions. I think it was well presented. If we're ready for a motion, I am ready to make one.
And I would be ready to second one.
Again, there are only two of you.
If that was a motion by Scott, I second it.
Yeah, so my motion would be that we accept the request to deviate from the standard 24-month eligibility list regarding the 5th Battalion Chief.
And I second that motion.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Perfect.
So 4B.
Okay, item 4B is a classification resolution. It is adoption of a new classification, SPN 603, concrete finisher. Staff has been working with the streets department to create this new job classification. We have concurrence from Local 270 and management to move forward.
No discussion on my part. I would move that we accept the resolution as presented.
I was on mute, Mr. Chair. I would second that motion. Did you
You're
hear
on
me?
mute,
I said I would second that motion. I don't know if you heard me.
Yes, I did.
There you go.
Okay, so any further discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Five A, other business.
All right. So under other business 5A, we have a request from MMP Bargaining Unit to present some information regarding a job survey that was conducted earlier this year. Discussion and concerns with the current process to be addressed. Dave or Samantha, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you, members of the commission. Kokot, I'm the president of the MMP Association. We're not entirely familiar with who we are. We represent the interests of professionals. We have actually two separate groups, MMPA and MMPB. MMPB is under the civil service and it is not. Approximately 340 members within the city. So the background of some of this is we're starting to see with more recently as well too, a lot of work is starting to being pushed down. Pushed down as we're losing some of our senior people. It still has to be done, so it goes down to the lowest. In some cases, we've seen principal positions removed, those positions split and given to people at the different levels to be able to accomplish the work that's being done with the city. So we're starting to see a lot more requests and starting to hear a little more requests for job surveys to basically determine what the actual work level is, where those positions are, should they be reclassified? Several things are going on. A job survey submitted from one of our members, Michelle Oakes, and the initial request was 10th of 2019. In general, the position was finally approved after a long process right around July 1st of this year. Now, I think some people could say, well, COVID really slowed that stuff down as well. Well, COVID didn't occur until March of this year. So from September through March, there was some sort of process that basically held this up, caused some delays, and other things as well. And the association has basically been doing some research into this, have some general requests for the commission to consider, as well as for the Civil Service Department to take a look at. The process for the job survey needs to be reviewed. And I'm only going to be speaking to the civil service side of things with this meeting here. I've had some discussions with Kelsey and talking about some of the concerns we have with this. One thing we've learned is the participants, either the supervisors, the employees, are not aware of what the steps are within this process. There needs to be a little bit better way of communicating that to them so they're aware of things. We've found a couple different opportunities where association sent some emails to supervisors asking what the status was. They weren't aware that they actually had a step to move this forward. So there appears to be some training that's also needed to help facilitate these, because in general, the delays in this does not benefit the employee. And in this particular reclassification, this was going to be a promotion. This employee was going from a 270 position to an M&P position. And during that time, even though they were doing the work at that level, they missed out on the benefits that would have been afforded to them had they been an M&P employee. The policies deal with this. There is a city policy, admin 620-08039. Wage and position changes. What it basically states in the policy is that these must be processed in as timely a manner as possible. And I think that's the crux of our concern is, what is a timely process? What is a timely time? If you look at it, that was 9-10 months that it took to accomplish that, when the information occurred faster. There wasn't any checks and balances. There wasn't anything to say, hey, you need to do this, or any deadlines for some of these things to move this forward. Once somebody receives something, they should be given the time to be able to respond back promptly so that it doesn't delay the process itself. So we need to be more streamlined, more timely, employees that are doing more than should be done to their current position. So we've kind of a little bit, but to develop as city policy helps. So with that, that's all at this point. We did submit a letter to the commission, to the chair of the commission, basically discussing our concerns with this particular case. I don't want to go into all the details with it. I think our biggest issue at this point is addressing this to the commission. This is a concern for us for future job surveys. We are going to be seeing several of those, especially with the potential of seeing some budget cuts next year. We know this is going to happen. If we do it now, we're going to be ready for that rather than having to scramble later on as these occur. I appreciate your time, and I'm more than willing to answer any questions you may have.
Thanks, Dave.
Well, I about every fourth word broke in and out on me, and I'm tried it on Wi-Fi. I've tried it off Wi-Fi, on cellular. I've tried it on everything. However, reading the letter, and I certainly appreciate the need all of us have for timely action in our jobs. And as you stated in your letter, these are definitely trying times for a lot of people, and especially with the upcoming budget constraints that probably most municipalities are going to be facing. The challenges will only continue to increase. So speaking just for this commissioner, I hear you, don't disagree with you. And I think we're all going to be pushed to do more with less. And we're all going to have to try to prioritize in our customer service demands.
And a quick clarification, I misspoke that the person was previously 270 and went to M&P. She was actually hourly M&P and would have gone to salaried M&P. My apologies for that.
Okay.
Thank you for that clarification. And I wanted to echo what Commissioner Holt had just said, and that having read through all the correspondence, it did seem like there was a lack of timeliness there. And then again, looking through all the correspondence, one of the things that struck me as well was it certainly didn't appear to be malicious in nature or negligent. It just seemed like one thing compounded another, and it just wasn't, I mean, the employee wasn't well served, and that's certainly not our goal. And so I think that's something we should, examine and make sure that the process is a little more seamless than that.
Agreed.
Any further discussion?
All right. 5B is just sort of looping back to the chief examiner job spec. I did email out sort of all of the suggestions, ideas, edits that we got as of last night to everybody. I did get just another one right now during the meeting as well. So they're kind of trickling in. But I think it's a good idea to just review those, sort of see what's kind of out there and on the table. I think what I would like to recommend is that we sort of take all these recommendations and ideas, and I have a classification analyst on staff, sort of put things together in a cohesive manner into a draft spec, and I would email that all out to you guys for review, and we can discuss. I think that it would be nice to sort of get to a point that by October we could have something for possible adoption by the group. But I'm certainly open to hearing what anybody's thinking or feeling about what's out there or what's not.
This is Dave Cocott again with M&P. Well, one of the things that we did is we took a look at the classification. It is definitely older language. And we took a look at a number of other jurisdictions that have similar positions. We did notice that a lot of the other jurisdictions, the HR and civil service are actually, what we did find and was forwarded on to Kelsey, the city of Reno seemed to emulate exactly the same position that we have in the city of Spokane. And we first started trying to kind of meld the two together. But as we started looking into it, it just made more sense to say, well, let's just take a look at Reno's spec and edit that as much as we need to. So I think it's more applicable. I think some of the things that the prior chief examiner was concerned about are very well addressed within that position of how it's described. So that's what we offered up for that, instead of trying to edit the existing one. Is let's start with something that's already been used by another jurisdiction very similarly, and work with something like that. And I think we'd be definitely more than willing to assist with that. And to get you to the October timeframe, we can definitely work with them help.
Any other comments or concerns from any commissioners?
This is Jude. Can anybody hear me? Hello? Oh my God.
Any comments or questions with respect to the chief examiner specifications as a sent out?
I was just going to add that I like Kelsey's suggestion of compiling the suggestions that have come in. I'd like to kind of see that in a comprehensive package. And I also appreciate Dave's willingness to be a very active participant in this process. I was holding off on making comments because I noticed there are quite a few people monitoring this particular Zoom meeting, and I was affording them the opportunity to weigh in if they wanted to.
There I am speaking with my microphone muted yet again. No comments from me. That was well said by Commissioner Stevens.
Then I will proceed with, putting something together and getting it out to commissioners and all the stakeholders that are ready to take a gander at and see if we can get something ready for adoption next week or next month, next month.
Any other business to come before the commission?
Not from me.
Nor me.
Gentlemen, you know your task right now.
I would very much appreciatively make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
I will happily second that.
We are such a happy group. Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.
Goodbye, everybody.